I Firdaus, I Tolulope, I Joanne, I Achigbe, I Kariuki. Apologies if I murdered that name. I Abubakar Abbas. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll be starting very soon. Um, I Dorcas. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Um, so as we wait for people to join before we get right into it with the introductions and everything, you can start leaving in the comments your name and where you're joining from. So yes, can do that while we wait for every other person to join in. I Denzel, I Hanin. I'll start. My name is Mujida, and I'm joining from Lagos. Okay, indulge me. It's your name and where you're joining from. Okay. It's 2 o'clock here now. And hi, Alex.
Hey everyone,
Well,
excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
yes, we're excited to have you too. Thank you very much for joining us. Um, so I'm going to start with a brief introduction of myself, WD, before we get to you. So thank you very much once again for joining us.
Of course, yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah. Welcome everybody. My name is Mujida Ashiru. I am going to be the moderator for this session. We are joining this workshop session as one of the initiative of this year's WD event. So WD, which means World Disability Day, is a global celebration that is held annually, usually in November across the world, to celebrate usability, accessibility, and human-centered design. We're bringing together designers in different areas, product designers, physical designers, architects, in different parts of the world, researchers, developers, change makers, to explore how design can make the world easier and more equitable for everyone. So this year's WD is themed "The Prompt Is You," and it's basically using AI to create solutions that are very useful. The organization, the event is WUD. So we are fostering the use of AI to build solutions that are usable. Um, so this particular session is supported by Magic Patterns, and as you can see, Alex is here with us. Is the co-founder of Magic Patterns. Um, so let me share my screen as I introduce Alex. I also have some other members of WD with me. We have Jemima and Tomiwa. You guys can say hi to them. So let me just share my screen for a bit while I introduce Alex. So Alex here is the co-founder of Magic Patterns, a startup that started early 2023. And since then, the startup has been backed by YC, and has quickly become a go-to platform for teams looking to supercharge their prototyping process with AI. So whether you're looking for AI curious, whether you're AI curious or you're already experimenting in your own workflows, as I believe that quite a number of people are doing already, especially as we have the hackathon and we'll be using Magic Patterns for our processes. So this session is designed to help you spark ideas and show you what's possible, how you can use Magic Patterns for your projects. So let me see who has responded to the chat by putting their name. Okay. Welcome, Tomiwa. I see Hanin. Hanin is from Palestine. Thank you very much for joining. Um, I hope that you're also registered for the hackathon. If you are not, we'll drop all of that details on this chat. If you are interested in joining the hackathon, it's an AI hackathon, and we'll just share all of the details. But for now, we can get right in to. Yes, I'm just going to give Alex the floor. Yes, thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. It's great to meet everybody. Thanks for joining the webinar. Hope to have a really fun, productive session over the next 30 minutes, and we can do some question and answers and Q&A. And we'll talk about magic patterns and really with a focus on prompt engineering and just the AI tools generally, right? As the co-founder of Magic Patterns, I can talk about it very easily, but we'll talk just more broadly about how to use AI tools, how to prompt, how are people using these tools. And again, feel free to message questions in the chat. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to move the Zoom, which is always in the way. And wonderful. So Magic Patterns is an AI design tool. You've probably seen a lot of tools like this, but where you can just prompt anything you'd like. And so we'll do some together today. But if I said a dashboard to manage customers, will go off and that will create a website for me. And then I can use that website to get feedback, to run a business, or to share with other team members, or just build something for fun. And we're trusted by lots of product teams. We actually do have lots of customers on the continent of Africa. I know lots of folks in Nigeria and South Africa and other places. So thank you. Maybe some of you have used Magic Patterns before. We really appreciate all the love and support from all around the world. So great to see so many people joining from so many different places in the chat. Kind of some of the core features, and this is true of many tools, but where Magic Patterns really focuses, we're really focused on prototyping, right? So there are other tools where perhaps you could spin up an entire database, an entire application. There are tools like Cursor, which we'll talk about. Now my screen is showing Cursor, where I can type like add a database using Postgres, right? Like these are really fancy, fancy stuff like adding a database. But Magic Patterns does not do that. Magic Patterns is only focused on front end because we think it's really fast to kind of share your ideas quickly. So if you need to brainstorm something, then Magic Patterns is a great place. We also try to match your existing designs. And we'll talk about how we do that and why that's important. And then, of course, collaborating with teammates. So I think let's do we can do an example here, right? If I do like a dashboard to manage customers. And you know what? We can also do another one while I'm logging in here. Let's go back. And when you log into Magic Patterns, again, maybe if some of you have seen this before, feel free to shout out in the chat if you have used Magic Patterns before. If you've used whatever AI tools you have used, feel free to mention in the chat right now, like I've used ChatGPT, I've used Magic Patterns, maybe used Lovable, Bolt, other amazing tools. So in Magic Patterns, when you log in, right, kind of same as I was showing before, I could do like a dashboard to manage customers and go ahead and hit enter. But before we do that, I want to show kind of a few slides to guide our conversation. Because on Magic Patterns, you can just, type that a dashboard to manage customers. But also we have the concept of a canvas, which works a lot like Figma. And so let's use this to guide our conversation. So you'll see here, we are in a canvas, and we'll kind of go through every single slide here. And what's funny is actually, this might look a lot like PowerPoint or Google Slides, but these are actually all websites under the hood, right? So like right here, if I do add new, add a dashboard to manage my customers. My customers are based in Africa. And so you'll see I just hit generate. And now that is going off and generating a visual mockup live right now on this webinar. So you'll see here, it's saying a dashboard to manage my customers. My customers are based in Africa. A pro tip for everybody, no matter what tool you use, I see people are saying Firebase, Claude, Gemini, read the output. Like read what the AI is telling me. So in this instance, it's saying, I'm creating a professional customer management dashboard featuring sidebar navigation, key metrics. And now I'm thinking as it's generating, okay, what are the key metrics that I want to show? And feel free to add it in the chat, by the way, for a follow-up prompt. Let me know what you'd like to see, right? And so now we have our CRM. Pretty cool. Like it added different countries, right? Now, obviously, this is fake data because, again, we're just here to brainstorm. We're here to iterate. It's not actually to, manage a full CRM. So anybody have an update that they'd like to see in the chat? Like what would be an update that someone would like to make here? Let's see if the search works. Okay, the search works. That's pretty cool. Can we search by country? No, we can't search by country. Can we search by, no, okay. So let's change that. Let's say, please add the ability to search by country. And you'll see, I just typed a prompt, right? And now the AI is going off and adding that so that we can add interactivity. And that's what's really new about all of these tools is the ability to create interactive mockups, interactive websites very, very quickly. Because you'll see here, if I click on the share button, here we have that website. And so now let's see if that works. If I do Ghana, nice. Okay, now it's working. Let's see, use profile picture placeholders. I love that. I'm going to copy paste that into the chat. And I'm just going to paste that. Now, let's talk about prompt engineering. Like, how could this be better, right? A few things. In all of these tools, they generally have a select mode where, like, in this instance, we should maybe make our sidebar better, right? So I can actually select anything on the app and click add to chat. And then now the AI knows that I'm talking about my sidebar. I'm going to show that again, right? If I were to say, edit the list to add a, workspace page, it may not know what I'm talking about, right? Like the AI cannot read my mind. And so I highly recommend with all of the tools you use, whether it's ChatGPT, Copilot, anything that's mentioned in the chat, try and think about how can I be very specific, right? You'll see actually in Magic Patterns, if you click on your profile picture and you go to documentation, we have some prompting tips. And you'll see the biggest tip we have is be specific, right? The AI cannot read your mind. And that's where select mode can really help. So again, going back, and now I can select this sidebar, add to chat, add more navigation items. Awesome. I see a question here. I'm going to answer it because feel free during this session. I have these slides here, but it is always time for Q&A. It's always time for questions and answers. So please feel free to use the chat to ask any. What if I want to stack up customers side by side and directly compare metrics and store it in a different frame? Totally, like we can just prompt for that. So kind of going back here, I'm going to open the editor. And so I'm going to just paste that. Now, that's a great from the chat. Let's improve this prompt a little bit together, right? Because a lot of the goal here is prompt engineering. So let's just say we want to direct and really ask the AI. So let's tell it, stack up customers. Let's add a new page too. Add a new page called comparison and stack up customers side by side to directly compare metrics and decide which are my most valuable customers. And store these customers. Yeah, so I think maybe by frame you're saying page, but let me know if I'm not totally understanding. And then again, we can just fire that off to the AI. And what's really cool here is when we're done, we can export to Figma. So if anyone has used Figma before, feel free to mention in the chat if you've used Figma. We can share it. Again, like this is just a website. So if I click this, we can share it, with my teammates that are building software with me. Again, having them experiment with the search. Or of course, we can look at different response sizes. So, on mobile, it's kind of broken on mobile. We should probably do a follow-up. Please make it mobile responsive. We can always message that. Right now, we're just kind of testing here. And so, yeah, Figma is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me at this point. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, the good news is that you can export to Figma. In Magic Patterns, you can also import from Figma. So we'll see here. Because one important thing to understand about Figma, at least kind of the core design tool, if I just open that up here. Figma is an amazing product. We love it so much. But like, here's an example, right? So I'm in Figma right now, and you'll notice, here are my button components. Now in Figma, you can't really get that interactivity, right, with their core design product. We were just kind of showing how I can search, right, where let's kind of take this to Figma. If I export to Figma and I go to Figma and I'm going to open the Magic Patterns plugin and just paste in what we created. And so you'll see, here's my customer management dashboard here in Figma. Now, there's a problem though. We lost that interactivity, right? Like it no longer is an interactive table. I can't type South Africa and get back and get back a country. And so that's just one thing to note is, why a lot of people are using tools like Lovable, Bolt, Magic Patterns, ChatGPT, if you're kind of generating a website there. It's because of that interactivity, right? It's just easier to mock up that way. Awesome. I'm going to keep kind of taking now a step back and again, more high level to make sure everyone understands Magic Patterns and like why people are using it. And really with the focus on the prompt is you, which I love about that intro and kind of the theme of World Usability Day. So, there's a lot of talk about this space, right? Really, everything that we've been talking about, a really popular term that's been being used is AI prototyping. And notice prototyping, right? And even the title of this talk, concept to prototype, right? Because that's the idea. How can we turn our idea into a working prototype? And so I'm not sure if anyone here knows Lenny's newsletter, but it's very popular among product people. And so we write, one of the most popular posts in Lenny's newsletter is this kind of guide to AI prototyping. And so I mention it because it just goes to show how many people are talking about this. It's even on YouTube. If you type AI prototyping on YouTube, you'll see lots of different mentions about it, right? How AI prototyping changes the game with tools like Miro. Not sure if anyone's used Miro. Feel free to mention it in the chat, or please feel free to mention in the chat what are some prototypes that you have made with some of these tools. And kind of really zooming out, kind of as we were showing with our customer dashboard, the kind of key problem that these tools are solving for is how do I make an interactive mockup, right? Just like that search bar. How do I search by country? How do I search by name? And how do I communicate that interaction with my teammates, right? Like, let's say I work at a sales dashboard company, a sales company, or I'm building an internal tool. How can I talk to my teammates about that, right? And in the old world, maybe you were writing on a piece of paper and taking a picture or sending WhatsApp messages or Microsoft Teams messages or email, right? Um, but instead, now you can communicate. For product managers, I think this is really important. And for a lot of people in technology, building software is very expensive and very difficult to do, especially you don't want to build the wrong things. And so I would think about these tools as how do I decide what to build and how do I decide what not to build, right? And then finally, can I use the code directly? This is kind of the future for engineers. If you're more comfortable with code, let us know in the chat. Say you can say you're an engineer. But just to show you all here, so if we go back to our customer dashboard and I right click open an editor, you'll see here right now I'm in the chat. But if I go to the code tab, you'll see here is all the code. And so great, I see we have an engineer in the chat. The good news is anyone can use this, right? If you're trying to get more comfortable with code and understanding it, like you can see all of the things that was generated here. Again, all I did was I just went to the code tab. And so now we can see, okay, here's my customer table. And pretty interesting, we can see the customers that were hard coded, right? And so we can actually make changes. Let's say I want to change this name to Alex. That's going to just make the change directly. No AI needed. And I tell a lot of customers and users that like sometimes you don't actually need to use the AI, right? So now you'll see it says Alex. Let's change that to Alex at email.com and change that to United States, right? And so now we're just changing it live without really needing to prompt. Another important thing is kind of showing the end stage, right? We showed export to Figma, but also there's this export button here at the top. And you'll see this button, copy code as prompt. And so for the engineers in the chat, and I see this great question, people are saying, how do I get design in other languages than TypeScript? For context, everyone, this is TypeScript code. That is the programming language that's being used, right? So this is TypeScript and React, and it ultimately it boils down to make the website, it's JavaScript, right? But you can think of it as React code in TypeScript. So here's a React component, and maybe your company uses a different programming language. Maybe they use Angular or Kotlin or React Native if you're a mobile app, or just something completely different. If you click export, we can copy the code as prompt. And so I was giving a little sneak peek of this earlier, but there are other tools that can be really powerful when used with magic patterns. And so this is actually Cursor. Does anybody know Cursor? Have people used it before? It's great for the hackathon. And so here, let's say I'm done with my customer CRM. I can click export, copy code, and now go to cursor, and I can copy paste that into cursor. And I can tell cursor, hi, here, I'm going to zoom in for everybody. Hi, here is my awesome clickable prototype. Maybe if you're an engineer, maybe your product manager used it, right? That my product manager created. I am the engineer. Please turn it into Angular code, right? Because right now it's React code. And also, I see another question. People say, how do I sync it with backend? Generally, we see with our customers, like they already have a backend with their existing code base, right? So maybe they would say, and also hook it up to our database. Magic Patterns is not really the type of tool if you actually want to hook it up to something, right? In that case, you could use a tool like V0, where kind of very similar to us, except they actually have integrations. So if I click on any of these here, like V0 icon, you'll see the if I go to they moved the sidebar. Here we go. If they go to connect, you can see all of these integrations, right? Neon, that's a database. Supabase, that's a database. So if you want to add a database, or you want to kind of make an interactions with an actual database, maybe you're building something for a client, you're building, I don't know, like a dashboard to manage finances or bank or whatever it is, you can use something like V0. Versus Magic Patterns, again, is really focused on that prototype. And so, again, to kind of show how lots of folks use us is when they're done, they will take the code, paste it into something like Cursor, and then say, hook it up to our database. Awesome. Any questions about that, about how people are using the Magic Patterns output? We were just kind of showing how I use the code directly. I'm going to take a quick pause. Any questions, Q&A for the chat?
So yes, we do have some questions here. Thank you
Oh,
everyone
yes.
for joining. If you have questions, please leave it in the chat. We're going to respond to it. So a question here says, is it possible to get the designs in other languages and framework aside TypeScript?
Yeah, totally. So, kind of showing that right now, no. Right now, Magic Patterns only generates TypeScript and React because it's just really quick and the AI knows about it very well, right? Like, if I can do a command here, I can do command polish, make my sidebar better. And that will output TypeScript code. If you want to change it to a different language, I would recommend moving it to something like Cursor, right, which is just more powerful and less centered around React and TypeScript. We're very centered around those web technologies. Awesome. I think I was largely addressing most of the questions in the chat. I'm going to take a screenshot. Thank you, Denzel. I see Denzel in the chat wrote Magic Patterns is really good. Thank you. That's great. I see someone made a personal time management platform built upon the Eisenhower approach. I love that. Let's like show an example. Let's see how Magic Patterns does it. So we can just click add new here. I'm just pasting in from the chat, personal time management dashboard. I did a bad prompt actually. Like I should be more specific where I'm saying that was built upon. In this case, I want to give the AI an action, right? So I can say personal time management port platform, you know, you use the Eisenhower approach. And this would be a really good time to be really more specific, right? Like what colors do I want? Like, make it dark mode, something like that. Awesome. I see one new message. Yeah, support Python, PHP, and Python. It does not support Python and PHP right now. Then you would want to use something like Cursor and say, please please turn it into PHP and Python, right? And then I can hit enter in cursor and it's going to go ahead and do that. Notice how it's saying convert prototype to PHP and Python, and it's going ahead and doing that. Awesome. Is this what your time management platform looked like? Nice. Oh, I see a great question here. I've seen, I'm going to move this into here. I've seen lots of UIs generated have a similar aesthetic. Is there a way to tweak or restructure? Yes. So that's something we didn't even really talk about, but we can in the next few minutes, which is Magic Patterns is unique in that we support the ability to bring in your custom components. Do people know what components are? Do people recognize this photo? So components are, yes, like the Lego bricks of your app, right? So maybe I have my button, my nav bar. It's like a Lego, like a brick, right? And so going back to the Magic Patterns dashboard, if I go to home, you'll see here, we were just this whole time, we were using what we call this base preset, right? So like when I did that customer dashboard, it just looked like similar aesthetic, kind of the default template. But you'll see we have the concept of a preset. So that is how you can kind of make it your own styling. Like maybe I have a preset for World Usability Day Hackathon. And, I can say always use, Merriweather font from Google Fonts, make it, tan and yellow with black borders and bold black, like text. And then I'm going to hit save. And so you'll see like if I do like a card here, it will go ahead and use that preset, right? It'll use those colors every single time. Kind of going back, I have this demo where I use Stripe, if people are familiar with Stripe. And so if I say like a customer dashboard, it knows all about Stripe and it knows all about my Stripe components, where you'll see, again, going back to the dashboard. Here we have connected it to my component library. And so if I go to my libraries, Stripe, I have all these components. So I have my Stripe sidebar. I have my Stripe logo, pricing header, pill button, other buttons. And so in anything, I can just say like use my @Stripe, icon button, and it'll go ahead and use that in my design. And so it's really powerful because we'll see here how it is, you can use kind of existing components to make something that looks like Stripe, that doesn't look like every other aesthetic, if that answers the question. Awesome. Can you make 3D pages using Three.js? Yes, you can. Actually, that's funny. I was doing one earlier. If I go back here and I go to the dashboard, I was trying to make a smiley face, but I was really struggling. This is Three.js, kind of a 3D web page. But I was really struggling because I was saying, make it a happy face, and it was not very happy. This is kind of showing one of the hard parts about AI. It can't really see. It doesn't know that it's not smiling. I could use a command here like debug and saying, right now, the face is not smiling. It is not happy. Please try flipping it upside down. We'll see if that works, but cool. Any other questions? I like the laughing. Yes, it is pretty funny.
We do have some questions that I've taken note of. So a question says, what if I think that was for the first prompt you did, I think the CRM, where the person mentioned, what if I want to stack up customers side by side to directly compare metrics and decide which
Yes.
the most valuable customers and store these customers in different frames.
Nice. Yeah, let's so that's great. I realized we didn't even show that. So now if we go back to our prototype and I click comparison, look, it added that new page. And so let's try this. Let's add one of our customers. Okay, nice. And then let's add another customer. Awesome. So here we go, the side by side comparison, right? And maybe this is what I had in mind, and this is great. Maybe it's not what I had in mind. Like it's, I don't know. I don't like it. Maybe I can switch it, and I should say, use red and green always to do a more direct comparison. Notice prompt engineering, very important on the comparison page. I want to be very specific what I'm talking about. Awesome. The platform is free to try. Most of the tools are free to try. Again, like you can also try V0 or whatever it is. But yeah, Magic Patterns is free to try, so you can try it out. You get 5 free credits. Ah, there's our smiley face. There you go. I think it's now it's a little too smiley. I'm kind of scared. It kind of looks like a clown or something. Too much smile. Awesome. Any other
Funny.
questions?
That's actually fun because first the smile wasn't enough, and then now the smile is too much.
Yeah, yeah. Like in this case, right? My prompting is not going very well, but um, wonderful.
Yeah.
Any
So
other?
we have another question here that
Sure.
says, can one prompt a design with magic patterns and move to development directly? Or is it simply used to show an idea quickly to stakeholders?
The main use case is showing an idea quickly, but we do have a lot of people who go idea to production, right? Like as I was showing earlier, if I work at this customer management company, I work for the CRM, I can click export, copy code, and then my engineers can use that in a tool like Cursor. Awesome. Yeah, I see one in the message. Resembles a horror movie character. Oh, that's better. Look, now we got it. It just took a couple prompts. There we go. It's now it's working. It's beautiful in here. I'll share that in the chat with everybody. There you go. Comfy jellyfish. That is that's the design. So awesome. Cool. Yeah, thanks so much again for having me. Any other questions I can help answer?
Yes. Yes, there's another question here that says, how do I sync it with the backend?
Yes. So for what it's worth, I was trying my best to answer the questions in the chat as we were going. Um, Again, like something like syncing with backend, that you would want to do that in Cursor, right? Like we don't have a direct feature for syncing with backend, but you can do that with Cursor, right? Where maybe your actual customer code base, your customer data, right? Again, this is fake data. This just made up names. But maybe the real data is in, you could connect it to however Cursor connects to your database. That's how most people do it.
Okay, I hope that Alex is really answering our questions. So if you need clarification on anything, please
Yeah.
feel free to put in the chat.
Yes, yes, please. Yeah, here, I'll take a second. Anyone have any immediate
Yes. So
questions?
another question that I have here says, what workflow would you recommend for building a tool from scratch? Will you start at magic patterns and move to cursor as you have shown?
Yes, I think Magic Patterns is great for brainstorming, for ideation, right? Like I don't eh, well, there's really two use cases. The ideation, I don't know what I need to build yet. I need to build a new customer CRM dashboard. My boss told me we need to add this feature. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. But then there's also if I have like existing things, right? I could, let's say I'm working on my existing customer management, like this already exists. I could take a picture, right? And upload it to Magic Patterns. Um, or here on the canvas, I can select it and copy that, and then make a new version like version 2. And start editing that. But I think in most of cases for the people on this call, I would recommend like new ideas, like brainstorming, right? And then bringing it to something like Cursor. Does Meta Patterns have tutorial videos? I see that in the chat. Yeah, if you go to the documentation, we have lots of great videos. You'll see right here tutorial videos if I zoom in. Thank you for the love on YouTube, by the way. We always appreciate it. I'm gonna share this in the chat. All the love on social media is always very appreciated. I love seeing comments from all over the world. Um, but yeah, so if you just paste that, there you go. That's one of the YouTube videos. Awesome. Any other questions as we like wrap up here?
Okay, so if we have hackathon participants in this call, this is your time to start
Yes.
thinking into the product you're trying to build and questions you may have for Alex on how you can use magic patterns to build it. So yes, we can take
Yes.
more questions.
Yeah, the prompt is you. Remember, like you are building the future. This is new for everybody. I recognize there's lots of tools on the internet that you can try, and just remember, like it's okay to try lots of different tools to, um, like not be afraid of just typing what you want and seeing what you get back, right? Like you're truly building the future. I think the hackathon is really fun. I'm jealous. I want to go to the hackathon. That sounds great. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I see people in the chat. Yeah, no, thank you for the great session. I hope it was helpful. Um and yeah, you can go to magicpatterns.com to try it out. Uh, and again, if you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn or anything like that, you're welcome to. We always appreciate all the support and all the kind words online. So yes, this was how to go from concept to clickable prototype in minutes, and kind of an overview of this AI tool. Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thanks. Unless there's any other questions. Can I create a WhatsApp? Can I create a WhatsApp prototype? Here, we'll answer questions for a few more minutes. Can I create a WhatsApp prototype? Totally. I mean, you can't. We don't like integrate with WhatsApp directly, right? But if I were to just type here, like, build me a prototype for WhatsApp business to manage restaurant orders, I could totally do that. And then what do I mean by 5 credits? Somebody asked. So on Magic Patterns, 1 credit is 1 prompt. So right now I just use 1 credit. You'll see my account here has 1,000 credits. And so that was 1 prompt, right? If I do a follow up where I say like make it red, that's another prompt. That's every interaction with the AI costs a credit because it costs us money under the hood, right? Like paying the AI provider. We don't build our AI in house. And so that's how that works. Awesome.
All
Yeah, I see.
right. So Alex, you can please leave your LinkedIn
Oh,
on
sure.
the chat if you can connect with you. We're coming to the end of this session. Please, once again, Alex is still here for a couple more minutes. You can ask your
Yes.
questions. We do have them, or we'll be wrapping up. All right. Yes. Okay. He has dropped his LinkedIn. Um,
Yeah, and then you can follow our company too. Here, um, let me get the company page. I'm gonna share that. Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. We really appreciate your support and thank you very much for your time joining us here. Looks like everybody, nobody has any questions. So yes, Magic Patterns is a really great product. I use it. I use it a lot. So yes, it's really wonderful to have you here. We appreciate it. Everybody here appreciates it. So yes, thank you very much.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
can we leave a comment for Alex? Say thank you. What you've learned, what's something that you've learned in the chat.
yes.
Something that you are really happy about that Magic Patterns has. So you can just give him his flowers in the chat.
Well, also, yeah, I love that idea. Everyone should share in the chat, like, what did they learn, right? And maybe in the last few minutes, I can see if there's any questions. But um, yeah, like I'm sure there's lots of learnings about different tools and things like that. How to prompt, being really specific. What is a component? Making interactions. I see one message about I didn't know much about today. That's great. Learn something new. Oh, can I view the WhatsApp prototype? Oh, sure. Here we can show that. Here you go. Here's the WhatsApp prototype. So you'll see, right? It's just like, it doesn't look exactly like WhatsApp. I use WhatsApp too. But you get the idea. And let's see, does the message send? Do I hit enter? No. Okay. So now I'm going to say add the ability to send a fake message, right? This obviously is not actual WhatsApp. So we can try that. Cool. Let's see it. What else in the chat? Yes, Matt. Thanks for the kind words. All of the tools are great. All of the tools are great. No, thank you for the time. Let's see. We can see this last interaction here. Let's see. So again, I love reading the output, right? It's like sharing, okay, I'm adding messaging features. What happens? Pressing enter and everything. So let's see if we say, thank you, everyone. So if I write, let's see, moment of truth. Thank you, everyone, for having me. There we go. And it sends the message. Oop, I can't zoom in too much. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Right? Or if I say, um, hi, all. There we go. Nice. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, it was Alex. So I think we're at time now. Um, yes, I see that everybody has left comments. Some people have left comments on in the chat. So I see magic patterns seem to be more accurate at generating UIs. This session really gave me insight into the capabilities of AI. Now you must approach prompting. Thank you very time, Alex. Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, so a lot of thank yous. So yes, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all for your time. Have an awesome weekend of building and using AI tools and have fun at World Usability Day. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Alex. Yes.
Okay, take
All right.
care.
Bye, Alex. Okay, so if you are still here as Alex leaves, um we have other sessions coming up tomorrow. Like a lot of other sessions for the hackathon are coming up tomorrow. So if you are not yet, Jemima, please could you drop the link so you can just register for WUD. You get all of the details. You can go to wudafrica.com. Um, you get all the details that you need there. If you're already a participant, look forward to the other sessions that we have tomorrow. You can look through beforehand. So a couple sessions are running at the same time. So you want to make sure that you're attending the ones that are really beneficial to you. Yes, yesterday's session, I'm not quite sure if yesterday's session was recorded, but if you're on the WhatsApp group, you get that response. Oh, it did send his LinkedIn profile. Let me look for it and send it again. Um, yes. Jemima, could you please help me send that again? I think my message is not going to everyone. So yes. So yes, she says that yesterday's session was recorded. So could you please help me send Alex's LinkedIn to the chat? So yes, you can join the sessions tomorrow. If you're on WhatsApp, if you're on Slack, please, if you don't have a team yet, speak up, let people know so that you can form teams with other people who do not have teams as well. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I think session starts by 10 or 11, running like that up until 5 p.m. So multiple sessions. You want to look to the website for all of that details in order to join the ones that are going to be beneficial to you. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Yes, session starts at 10 a.m. So thank you everyone for joining. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And we look forward to having a great time with you as we go through the hackathon sprint and then seeing you, some of you physically at the event on November 15th, the conference. So it's not a must for you to be in the hackathon to join the sessions, to join the workshop sessions. If you have a product like that you want to work on, that's totally fine. You can form teams and join the hackathon to work on that. Build um, products that solve real world problems with AI. And if you're not interested in that, you just want to learn, get acquainted with different things, feel free to register for the for the workshop sessions. And yes, and learn a thing or two, or a lot actually, because we're bringing great and top guys from different parts of the world. So yes, yes. I think we're come to the end of this session. Yes, tomorrow's session is online as well. All the sessions, all the workshop sessions are online, except for the conference itself, which is November 15th, and that's happening in Lagos. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for joining. So if you registered for this, you'd get this recording in your email. So yes. If you did not, you can join the WhatsApp group and the recordings, or Slack. The recordings will also be sent. A link to it will also be shared there. So yes, join the WhatsApp group for more information. I think we've come to the end of this. Yes, thank you very much everyone for joining. Do we have any more questions? I'm just going to wait for like a minute to see if we have any more questions before we say bye. Thank you once again for joining everyone. Okay. Yes, we've come to the end of today's session. Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.